Welcome. This practice is an invitation to explore self-forgiveness. Most of us carry something we wish we had done differently. Perhaps we made a mistake, hurt someone we care about, acted against our values, or treated ourselves in a way we now regret. Sometimes we learn from what happened, make whatever repair we can, and still find ourselves carrying guilt, shame, or self-criticism long afterward. Self-forgiveness does not mean pretending that what happened didn't matter. It does not mean excusing harmful behavior. And forgiveness is not something we can force ourselves to do. Sometimes forgiveness comes slowly. Sometimes we may only be able to create the conditions that allow forgiveness to become possible. So there is no need to accomplish anything during this practice. We are simply beginning. Before we start, you may want to have a pen and paper nearby. There will be a few opportunities to write down something you notice, although writing is completely optional. And please take a moment to check in with yourself. This practice asks us to touch some emotional pain. Is this a reasonably good time for you to do that? If you choose to continue, please select something that is difficult but not overwhelming. And remember that at any point, you can lean back from the practice. You can open your eyes, feel your feet on the floor, return your attention to your breath, or simply stop. Let compassion guide how deeply you go. All right, let's begin by finding a comfortable position, allowing your body to be fully supported by the chair beneath you. Perhaps feeling your feet resting on the floor, the grounding of this support. And if it feels comfortable, allow your eyes to close or simply soften your gaze. Taking a few moments here to arrive. Noticing that you are here, breathing, supported. Perhaps placing a hand over your heart, on your cheeks, your arms, or somewhere else that feels comforting. Allowing this touch to be a small reminder, I am going to try to meet myself with kindness. And now, bring to mind something you have done or perhaps failed to do that you regret. Something for which you would like to begin forgiving yourself. Allowing yourself to choose carefully. This does not need to be the most painful thing you have ever done. Perhaps you made a mistake that affected someone you love. Perhaps you failed to speak or act when you wish you had. Perhaps you behaved in a way that was not consistent with the person you want to be. Maybe you harmed yourself through an old pattern or habit. Or maybe there is simply something you wish you could go back and do differently. Letting compassion help you choose something difficult enough to be meaningful, but manageable enough to hold today. And for a few moments, gently recall the situation. You do not need to replay every detail. Just allow yourself to remember enough to notice what happens inside when you think about it. What do you notice in your body? Perhaps tightness, heaviness, heat, a sinking feeling, or a knot in the stomach. Maybe pressure around the heart. And there is no need to change anything. Just see if you can simply notice. Perhaps even making a little room around whatever you are feeling. And if it feels too intense, you might imagine simply touching the experience lightly with your awareness, rather than plunging into the middle of it. And what emotions are here for you? Perhaps regret, sadness, shame, embarrassment, maybe grief, fear, anger, confusion, remorse, or something else. And if you can, gently name what you are feeling, such as, this is regret, this is sadness, this is shame. Noticing whether naming the feeling creates even a little space around it. And if you have paper nearby and would like to write down a word or two, you can do that now. And now dropping back inside yourself, see if you can bring some compassion to the person who is hurting because of what happened. That person is you. Perhaps returning a hand to your heart or another place on your body that feels supportive. Feeling the warmth or pressure of your hand. Sometimes when we have caused harm or made a mistake, our mind tells us, good people don't do things like this. But human beings do things we regret. We act when we are frightened. We react when we are overwhelmed. We speak from old wounds. We misunderstand. We fail to notice. We make choices without understanding all of their consequences. These things do not erase responsibility. They simply place what happens inside the larger truth of being human. You are not the only person who has ever wished they could go back and do something differently. You are not alone in regret. What might you need to hear right now? Perhaps, I know this hurts. I know you wish it had been different. You are still worthy of compassion. Like everyone else, you are learning. Or perhaps your own words arise. Allow yourself to hear whatever words feel kind and true. And when you are ready, allow yourself to become curious about what contributed to what happened. Not to excuse it, not to construct a defense, simply to see the situation more fully. If you could look at your past self through the eyes of compassion, what might you notice? Were you exhausted, afraid, lonely, overwhelmed? Were you reacting to an old hurt? Were you caught in a familiar habit or pattern? Were you trying to protect yourself? Did you misunderstand what was happening? Did you believe you were doing the right thing at the time? Were there things you simply did not yet know? Perhaps there were many causes and conditions that came together in that moment. See if you can allow the story to become a little larger than, I did this because there is something wrong with me. You might ask yourself, what do I understand now that I did not understand then? And what was this version of me needing? If something important has become clearer, you may want to write it down. And now, we come to forgiveness. And again, there is nothing you need to make happen. Forgiveness has its own timing. You may feel ready to forgive yourself. You may feel a small willingness, or you may not feel ready at all. All of these responses are welcome. And if forgiveness feels too far away, simply continue offering yourself compassion. Perhaps the invitation today is only to become willing to stop attacking yourself. And if some intention toward forgiveness is present, you might quietly offer yourself these words. May I begin to forgive myself for the harm I have caused. For what I did knowingly or unknowingly, through my words, my actions, or what I failed to do. May I begin to forgive myself. Noticing the words begin to. There is no hurry, no deadline. Perhaps today you are simply opening a door. And you might find other words. Maybe, I wish this had been different. I am sorry. I am learning. May I begin to release the punishment I have been carrying. Let whatever feels genuine be enough. Self-forgiveness also asks us to consider what happens next. Compassion is not only tender. Sometimes compassion fiercely protects. Sometimes it says, I do not want to cause this kind of harm again. So ask yourself gently, is there something I want to do differently now? Perhaps there is a repair you can make, an apology, a conversation, a boundary, a change in behavior, maybe a commitment to ask for help, or a way of caring for yourself that makes it less likely that the same pattern will repeat. What would help you live more closely to your values? You might offer yourself, "May I repair what I can." May I learn from what happened. May I protect myself and others from further harm as best I can. And perhaps may I offer myself compassion for what cannot be undone. And now, allowing the situation you have been holding to gently move into the background. You do not need to solve anything else right now. Feeling the chair beneath you. Feeling your feet grounded by the earth below you. Noticing your breathing. Perhaps placing a hand somewhere comforting one more time. And asking yourself, what did I notice? What did I feel? What did I learn? There may be something you want to write down, or perhaps you simply want to sit quietly for another moment. Self-forgiveness may take time. You do not have to force it. Perhaps for today, it is enough to have turned toward something painful, to have met yourself with compassion, to have looked more deeply at what happened. And to have made a little room for the possibility of forgiveness. Taking one more slow breath here. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. May you learn from what needs to be learned. May you repair what can be repaired. And may you remember that mistakes are part of your story, but they are not the whole of who you are. Thank you for practicing with me today.